there are also protests. So today is a day of prayers and protests. Speaking of protests, let's cross over to Seth Olale, who's within the CBD with protesters who were against the corruption levels that are in the country. That was also a topic of discussion during the prayers. But let's listen to the latest from Seth. Seth?
Now, actually, Trevor, like you said, we have protesters, mainly drawn from the human rights groups, who started gathering at the Freedom Corner some minutes past 8 a.m. They are protesting against what they are calling a nationwide corruption crisis, and they say that this is now equivalent to a national disaster. That protest particularly started at the Freedom Corner. They walked all the way to through Kenyatta Avenue, and right now we are here at the entrance of the Supreme Court. It has been peaceful so far, but what has been happening is that the protesters have been calling upon the President Uhuru Kenyatta to actually intervene in this particular situation. They are saying that the talk is not enough, and they now want the president to walk the talk. And right now they're reading a petition, a series of petitions actually, that state that the Kenyans generally want criminal proceeding to be fastened enough, and they want action taken against what they say that are not just corruption culprits, but actually they are thieves. And that is the slogan for today's particular protest. It is indicating that hashtag stop these thieves. So I'm just going to try and get forward to what's happening right now, because what we know is that there is a statement being read by some of the organizers of this particular protest, led by human rights activists, including Kenyan National Human Rights Commission. Let us just listen in.
It is no longer enough to arrest the permanent secretaries, directors, managers, and accountants. Mr. President, stop rewarding theft! Mr. President, stop rewarding theft! Attempted theft, incompetence, and abuse of office. We demand resignations from all public officers reshuffled after theft, abuse of office, and misappropriation and allegations from 2013 to date. We need to level responsibility.
Comrades, power!
Power!
Comrades, power!
Power!
We want all the money back! Prosecution of people who stole millions when tens and hundreds of millions of shillings were stolen or misappropriated is not enough. The banks must disclose the ultimate beneficiaries of the funds and support the relevant agencies in the recovery of assets so acquired. We demand that banks which facilitated these scandals be investigated and punitive actions taken against these institutions and individuals found culpable. We also demand that the Central Bank of Kenya expeditiously freezes immediately the accounts of culprits involved. We demand the immediate cessation of all public officials and their families conducting businesses with government of Kenya, for this creates endless conflict of interest that perpetuates public theft.
Comrades, power!
Power!
Comrades, power!
Power!
This one is not working. Okay, we demand the immediate cessation of all public officials and their families conducting businesses with government of Kenya, for this creates endless conflict of interest that perpetuates public theft. The government must immediately undertake a forensic audit of the integrity and efficacy of IFMIS in facilitating sound public finance management and the ownership and conduct of the companies involved in managing the system. All public officials need to make their wealth declarations and assets of their immediate family public. They must also declare all shareholding held directly and or indirectly, that is affiliated, family-owned or controlled companies, and that includes you, Mr. President. Stop recycling the same people in public appointments, for it's the small and privileged clique that monopolizes the controls, state resources without due regard to public interest, and ends up facilitating corruption. We especially reject appointments of retirees and the systemic exclusion of youth and women professionals, and demand appointment of people of integrity. Kina Modhaura and the rest must retire and go home.
Well, there's a live protest from the area within Supreme Court, that's a CBD, where the activists are protesting against the graft, and they're reading out their demands to the president, coming at a time when there was also a prayer meeting just a few minutes ago that just ended at Safari Park. Some of the demands they're making is that they want the resignations of all the public servants who were reshuffled after graft allegations. They also want the money to be brought back, implicating the assets recovery. They also want banks implicated in the corruption conduit to be investigated as well.